Hey everyone, this is Mo back again with a small sort of list about the Final Fantasy VII Remake that was of course announced a little less than a month ago at E3, but I feel like it's still in sort of context to talk about. So in no particular order, here are some of the things that I want to see show up in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Starting off, I want to talk about the battle system. In my opinion, I think it should stay turn-based, but I also feel like it should be more streamlined, similar to how in Chrono Trigger you could see the enemies you were going to face on the battle screen, or not on the battle screen, on the screen of your game. You could see them, you could walk around them, try to avoid them, and when you did get into a battle, the battle happened right on the screen. There was no loading time, and I thought that was really cool, you know? Since we're going to be getting into sort of a more modern age of gaming, I feel like it would make a lot more sense if Final Fantasy VII Remake looked like that, but at the same time it included the old battle system. The materia system should still be there, and I feel like there could be some new menu designs, a new battle mechanic possibly to keep the gameplay sort of fresh, but also stay true to the original structure. The second thing I want to see in this game is more side quests, more super bosses, and simultaneously a larger amount of rewards, weapons, and unlockables. So if you complete new side quests, you get new weapons. You defeat new super bosses, you get more items, more unlockables. I also want to see the world become larger, maybe open world, similar to how in Chrono Trigger, like I said before, the battles were streamlined, you could see the enemies. I want it to look kind of more like that rather than have you walking around on a top-down view overworld. I think that would make it seem a lot newer, make it seem a lot fresher, but at the same time stay true to what a JRPG has to be. The next thing I want to see is a new game plus mode. Now, with this, I obviously would want to have certain conditions be fulfilled in order to unlock the new game plus. In the new game plus, however, I would want to see stuff like I said before: side quests, super bosses, and possibly even a way to revive Aerith, and an alternate ending. These are all things that they can explore with adding new side quests, adding new content. This can change the outcome of the game. So that's something I would also like to see. The fourth thing I want to see in Final Fantasy VII is a reference to older games in the Final Fantasy series and maybe even newer games. This could mean Easter eggs, possibly include weapons from other games, and summons from other games. They could even include references to other Square games like Chrono Trigger or Secret of Mana. This could maybe mean a Lavos summon from Chrono Trigger or the Mana Sword from Secret of Mana. This could give you a nostalgic feeling as you're playing through the game, but it constantly reminds you that it's a new game and a new way to experience Final Fantasy VII. Number 5 on the things that I want to see in this game are the inclusion of Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus, possibly also remastered. I'm aiming more towards Crisis Core because it was a phenomenal game, unlike Dirge of Cerberus, but it was only on the PSP and is very underrated. Including these games would increase memorability of the remake and allow new players to expand upon the Final Fantasy VII universe that they otherwise wouldn't have known. A really important thing that they have to do with Final Fantasy VII, as many people know, is they have to make the minigames good. I'm talking about the submarine, the snowboarding, and much more. It's important to make these better because most people hated these parts of the game, including me. These minigames really stripped away at how the game felt and made me want to just get back into dungeon crawling. Because of this, it kinda took away at what the game was meant to be and how varied it was meant to feel. Fix the minigames and the main game will feel so much more rich and expansive. Lastly, and the most important thing for the devs to do when they're making this remake, is to update the graphics and update the soundtrack. Not so much the soundtrack, but the graphics from the original Final Fantasy VII undeniably look like shit. The devs at Square have an awesome opportunity not only to boost the graphical style, but also get a remastered soundtrack to help us relive Final Fantasy VII, but also, once again, keep it fresh. There should also be an option to switch between the original soundtrack and the sound effects, and the remastered soundtrack and the sound effects. Freshness is what I believe to be the key to developing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Keep it nostalgic for people like me who have played and loved the original, but also make it fun for newcomers to get into the Final Fantasy series.